Welcome back to part 2 of our ELL lesson. One thing I want to really impress upon you is that we can never separate language from culture. And let me just show you this. So when we think about culture, sometimes immediately we just think about surface culture. And, that's conscious understandings, food, dress, music of a particular culture. And then, there's this subconscious understanding, which we could think of as deep culture. So values, family roles, gender roles, behaviors, religious beliefs. And all of that impacts learning, but it also impacts the ability to acquire a language, and puts up some barriers, some cultural barriers. And I'm going to show you two scenarios, if you will, and I'm just going to read them to you. So I want you to kind of think as I'm reading this, how could this situation have been handled differently, and what deep culture aspects perhaps played a role in how this scenario played out. So for instance, there was, I can just ad-lib it, but there was a student breakfast program in a particular school, and in the community there was high population of Latino families, and the new program was implemented and students came, but what was happening was that the Latino mothers were bringing their school-aged children, but also they were bringing themselves as well as their younger siblings, younger children that were not in school yet, and everyone ate together. Well, what happened was, and this is true, this really happened, what happened was that the school kind of, got all up in arms and kind of forcibly barred the Latino mothers and their younger children from entering the school during the breakfast program time. And, that obviously sent a very clear message to the community, particularly the Latino community, about how the school felt about their involvement in the school. And obviously they didn't feel very welcome. And so in your mind now, when I was talking to you or saying that scenario, what cultural aspect do you think played a role in that? So in the Latino community, it is customary, it is a belief, a very highly valued belief, that families should eat together as much as possible. And because the school-age children were receiving free or reduced breakfast, obviously they were going to be eating at the school, but the mothers and the younger children were also going to come eat with them because that is what was customary. Of course, in your mind now, you're probably thinking of better ways you could have handled this situation had you been in charge, right? So instead of kind of barring the Hispanic families and mothers and children, probably a lot more communication could have gone on, and really elaborating the premise of the breakfast program, the objective of the breakfast program. And unfortunately, the way that this school district tried to smooth over this problem was by sending a letter home explaining everything that I just said, but the letter was in English, so really defeated the purpose. All right, so you get the point. What about another situation? A 7th grade student from Russia just recently moved here named Katya, and she's in a language arts class, and she stayed up very late finishing a book report that was due that day. That's what the assignment was. They had had a week or two to complete this book report, and she had stayed up very late completing it. When she entered the language arts classroom, the teacher said, "Oh, we're having a pop quiz today on everything we've learned over the past week." Now, Katya got very nervous because she had not studied. She turned to a student next to her who is a friend from outside of school, living in the same apartment complex, who is not of Russian descent. And she said, what's this, a pop quiz? And he didn't seem to appear very concerned about it. The teacher passed out the quiz, and she, continually asked this friend next to her for answers for the questions that she didn't know. And, at some point he got kind of angry with her and ignored her, which made her feel much worse than she already did. And so she just tried to peek over to see, what he was writing. The teacher saw this happening and sent her down to the principal's office for cheating. So, again, how could this have been handled differently? And what are the cultural tie-ins or underpinnings that may have impacted this situation in the first place? One thing about the Russian culture is that those who are seen as subservient, and students in that culture are seen as subservient, and the teacher is, of course, holds all the power. Those who are below the teacher are supposed to kind of band together and help overcome the enemy, so to speak. So when Katya was asking her friend next to her for answers, she couldn't really understand why they weren't banding together as a single unit to kind of overcome this problem of the pop quiz. Also, she had no idea what a pop quiz was. I mean, that's a very American term, pop quiz. And she was not aware that this could occur during a language arts class, and she had been playing by the rules because that day a book report was due, and that's what she was going to do, the book report, right? So that's where she put all of her efforts. I mean, it does kind of make logical sense. But again, and it could have been handled a lot differently. And I'm sure you would handle it a lot differently in your classroom, right? Okay, so I have other things here, but I think they're too difficult to talk about on a webcam. So I think I'm going to end it here, and what I'll do is I'm going to take the pieces that of the PowerPoint that I didn't share today, and I'll share them the next time we meet in class. It's on Angel if you want to look through the whole thing. And I really thank you for your time, and I will see you soon. Okay, take care. Bye.